the previews coming. Week 8 in college football. Today we're going to take a look at a few different games with returning guest Joe Duffy, offshoreinsiders.com. You can find Joe on Twitter at offshoreinsider. Joe, you were 1-1 last week. That's been the story of the year for you. 1-1, it seems like, in all your videos. Let's see if we can find 2-0 this week. We'll start off with a big one. Oklahoma laying a big number here, 34 against West Virginia. Before we get into Breakdown, Joe, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great, Jeff, and thanks for working with me. You know, we normally record it on Monday, but I was visiting my son for a long weekend, so we're recording on Tuesday, but things have been going great at offshoreinsiders.com, and hopefully we're going to get you some good free winners today.
Now, Joe, where were you?
I was in Columbus, Ohio. My son goes to Ohio State, and they had some type of fall break or something, so the wife and I and the family, we went up and visited him for 4 or 5 days.
Very nice, very nice. Buckeye City. All right, let's get into it, Joe. West Virginia, Oklahoma. This is an interesting game. Obviously, we look at last week, Oklahoma does not cover against Texas. I was very happy. I was on Texas in that game. I was with seemingly the whole world on Texas, and it was able to get the job done. West Virginia did not have quite the same effort last week. They get blown out by Iowa State. Listen, West Virginia really struggling to run the football right now. This is now 2 straight games where they failed to eclipse 100 yards in the ground. Austin Kendall has been out with an injury, and this is not a matchup that I would feel like they're looking forward to. You look at the last 3 seasons against Oklahoma, West Virginia's given up 59 twice and 56 in 2016. This has not been a good matchup. These have been high-scoring matchups. But, Joe, I think the big thing was, has Texas has the Texas game shown you that Oklahoma can all of a sudden defend? They weren't unbelievable, but they're pretty damn good. That late touchdown was a little bit made the score a little bit better than it probably should have been. This is a big number here. You look at Oklahoma in this role, not been good, particularly over the last 3 seasons as a home favorite of 21.5 or more points. They're just 6-6 against the number. When you pump that up above 28.5 points, they're just 1-4 over the last 3 seasons. What do you like here, Joe? This is a big number. You've been getting involved with some of these big number games. You're going to do it here?
I have been, Jeff. And like I said, college football is so much different than the other sports where it's really where big favorites do pretty well. And also, college football is the one sport where a lot of my systems are more intuitive than counterintuitive. And in college football, when you have a big favorite and a low total, normally the underdog covers. When you have a big favorite and a high total, normally the favorite covers. So this would obviously apply to the latter with it expecting to be a very high-scoring game. As you said, Austin Kendall, his injury status, that's going to be key here. Coaches tend to be very, secretive. I have a feeling we're not going to be certain of Kendall's status until game time approaches. He did get banged up in the last game. His backup, Jack Allison, did pretty well, though, 18-24 for 140 yards. Of course, this is a case where Kendall would be returning he was a transfer from Oklahoma, and it's tough backing up these Heisman Trophy winners and Heisman Trophy candidates. A lot of people would think, a little extra motivation for Kendall. I think almost just the opposite. Usually when you have some added pressure, that's not necessarily a good thing. Well, Oklahoma suffer a letdown after Texas? I don't really think so. I've kind of looked up the letdown theory and the look-ahead theory, and it really doesn't apply in college football quite as much as you would think. WVU's banged up in their secondary. They got the Hakeem Bailey's going to miss the first. Well, he's not banged up. He's going to miss the first half after getting ejected for targeting. Then his fellow starter, Keith Washington, was inactive the last game. He's got a muscle injury that's really affected his speed. He's another guy that's probably going to be close to a game-time decision. So West Virginia is a little bit banged up here. I do think that Oklahoma pulls away and covers the big number.
Keep also Giovanni Stewart, a safety. He redshirted this week. So, yeah, they are definitely beaten up in the secondary and really just are going to have to do without those guys. Again, this is not a spot that Oklahoma seemingly done very well in. They have had blowout games, though, this year. Obviously, blowing at Texas Tech would have covered that number in this game. UCLA, they won big. Look, I think it's pretty clear West Virginia can't stop anybody. They're back to that level where they can't stop anybody. I don't have much in this game. It's a tough one. Oklahoma has let me down in certain games this year, especially from a first half perspective. But I will say this. They might be worth a look here, Joe, in the first half. They have been quite good in that metric. I think the only game they haven't covered in the first half was obviously that Kansas game where they were only up, I think, 21-7. But again, other than giving up a touchdown in that game, they probably should have covered that game in the first half. I don't know, though. Tough game here. I lean with Oklahoma, but I'm not going to bet it. Joe, taking a look here at Oklahoma, West Virginia. Good stuff, Joe. Let us know on Offshore Insiders what you got going on. I know you've been killing it in the NFL. How you been doing in all the other sports?
Yeah, college football as well. 18-7 in college football, 48-28 in the NFL. That record goes back to the preseason. Got my Thursday night football game of the year in the NFL. Hit the total of the year with the Tennessee game, Jacksonville under a couple weeks ago. 11 Saturday college football are up. I got the Sunday NFL Wise Guy up. All that at offshoreinsiders.com.
I mean, listen. Joe Duffy doing some great things at his website. Go check it out. NFL's doing great. College doing great. Go check it out, people. Joe Duffy, one of the longest running handicappers in the business. Joe, we're going to do another video. Looking forward to talking to you on that one. We'll see you on the other video. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, sir.